Mark, first off, congratulations, and thanks for even sharing a part of this day with us.
Oh man, it's my pleasure, and yeah, it's an awesome day, and we're just kind of waiting to. This is the most pressure I've had on me in a few years, right?
And you know pressure.
I know a little bit about pressure, but I've had it easy here for the last couple of years, and it does. The preparation for all this feels like putting a WrestleMania match, on. So it's nice to get all those old feelings back for a day.
Where's your head at as you think about thanking the fans? You think about that it's Mr. McMahon himself who's made the decision that he wants to induct you, and then there's going to be that moment where you step forth and you have to share your feelings with everybody.
Yeah, it's unique in a lot of ways because for the greater part of my career, they only got Undertaker, right? Tonight, they're going to get Mark Calloway. So it's that in its own right is kind of nerve-wracking for me, because I could go out in front of 100,000 people as the Undertaker and not blink an eye. But to reveal myself to them, it adds a little extra pressure because I've never done it, right? So and then just trying to encapsulate 30 plus years of the WWE in my career is it's kind of a daunting task.
I want to talk to you about the 30 plus years, because here we are living in a day and age of hyper quick news cycles with a lack of attention span for all of us for anything in forms of entertainment or sports or news. And it's not flavor of the month anymore, it's flavor of the day, flavor of the hour. How in the world was The Undertaker capable of sustaining 30 years of attention, 30 years of relevance? How did you do that?
I'd like to say that I was just that smart, but it was my instincts early on. Now, obviously I started before the internet craze and cell phones and everything that you do is captured. But I made a decision really early on to only give people The Undertaker. Even when I was in public, although I wasn't dressed like I was on TV, there was no doubt that was the same guy, right? So there was never really a variance. Like that, I'd be in the airport and people were like, that's The Undertaker, right? So, because I always felt, because that character was so kind of over the top, that if I didn't give it that air of legitimacy, that people wouldn't accept it and people wouldn't buy it, and it would have fell by the wayside. And then just through the years, I think it goes back to instincts as well, is I couldn't, if I felt stale, like if what I was doing, if I started to feel like it was getting stale, then I'm in my head like, well, the audience is probably way ahead of me. So I always tried to keep a finger on the pulse of my audience and then try to figure out how to take this character and move it into where our current audience is at. And it was just something that I just always, a lot of times what happens is people will get comfortable with what they're doing. And when they do, they stop growing. And if you do that, then you're destined to become the flavor of the month or the flavor of the week, or today, a flavor of the day, because there's just so much content. So that was a vital part, is just trying to keep a finger on the pulse of our audience. That was one of the big reasons why I switched there in the early 2000s and kind of changed the character up a little bit to the American Badass version. I needed to recharge, and I needed to stay current, because I'm dealing with guys like Stone Cold and The Rock and all these guys that can cut unbelievable promos. That character the Undertaker character was so strong, but you're kind of boxed in what you can do and what you can't do. And those guys are just lacing the promos and just eating people up left and right. And I mean, there wouldn't have been a lot I could do. So I had to evolve that character. And then always with the mindset that I was going to come back and make what was old all new again. So,
are there a few single memories that ping for you, whether it's life on the road with the guys behind the scenes, or the biggest moments that we all remember for you, or a person? What are the few moments that really ping for you?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to work with guys that we spent early on in the 90s, I mean, we were on the road over 250 days a year. So your road family becomes your family. And those times that I spent with those guys, not even necessarily always in the ring, but just the camaraderie and the hanging out with your buddies and playing dominoes and things like that.
A little more than playing dominoes back in the day.
Well, a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was trying to get by that, but if you bring it, if you press me, I'll talk. That's one of the things that I miss the most is that camaraderie with my guys. And then professionally, my goodness, the throwing Mick Foley off of Hell in a Cell and my WrestleMania matches with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Those are some of my really, really proud moments. Those happened late in my career, and so it was really cool to be able to go out and, kind of at the twilight of my career, go out and be able to deliver performances like that with those guys. It's really special.
Mark, we sit here at WrestleMania 38, and it's headlined by a few superstars who got the early push because they were established in many ways, right. Whether they were legacy names or NCAA champions or former football players or former MMA superstars. You toiled. Yep. You had the door slammed in your face. Exactly. You had to earn every single inch of it to become the guy who ends up on the Mount Rushmore. Because of that, and because you know what you had to walk through to get to tonight, is it extra special?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of, guys like myself and Stone Cold. We were the last few to come up through the territories and pay those crazy dues that we had to. I talk often, about having to, sleep in my car at times and, not knowing if I'm going to have the money to eat. When you look back, you never see, when you're starting at that point, you don't ever see the Hall of Fame or statues or anything like that. You're just trying to get that booking, that first booking. And, so it really is overwhelming to think from where I started and the doors that were slammed in my face and the people that would walk by me and not even acknowledge me being in the room to where we are now. I think everything happens for a reason. It made me a tougher human being. It made me be able to handle different situations better because when you're 20 years old and you think you ought to rule the world and no one even knows you're on the planet. It is a humbling experience. So, all those doors getting shut was just motivation to kind of keep me going. I mean, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Did I know that it would end up like this? No, I had no. You can't see that. But I'm very proud of the way I came up, and but I'm also glad that the guys don't have to do it the same way now. It's a completely different game now, and our training facilities and the way guys are trained and brought up, they don't have to deal with the same kind of crap that I had to, and that's good. That's an evolution of our business, and I'm glad to be a part of that evolution too.
Mark, one last night with the arena where the spotlight is on you, where the Taker chant will rain down in a chorus, and then come tomorrow, it's a whole new life, right. Officially, right? You're a Hall of Famer, that's in the rearview mirror, and you're Mark Calloway moving forward. What's life beyond this for you?
Well, I've been blessed with a love of this industry, so I think it's dependent on guys like me to pay it forward. I want to work with our younger talent and do things with them, and then also I need to use my platform. Like, I protected this thing and made it what it is by protecting it and not giving them a look behind the curtain. Well, now I can open all that up and then use my platform, and I work with different foundations, and I want to use that name now to go ahead and continue to help our veterans and help Special Olympics and do things of that nature. And I think my passion really lies in helping our young talent. That's I think there's a connection between what I did and where the product is now. I think there's a little bit of a gap, and I think I might be able to help fill that gap and get some guys moving up the next generation of, superstars.
What are we in store for this weekend?
You're in store for, well, tonight, obviously, you're going to get a glimpse of the real dude. But this weekend, my goodness, WrestleMania, the card is stacked. I mean, there is so much. I think there's something for everybody on this card, and now they've split it up into 2 nights, which is, I think it's a great idea, because those WrestleManias, when all the matches were together, I mean, that makes for a very long day, and it actually wears your audience down somewhat. So they're going to have 2 days to split it up, and my goodness, you got Stone Cold coming back after 19 years. He's going to be involved in the show. I mean, the title match is off the charts. You got Roman Reigns, who's on this incredible run, and Brock Lesnar. First-time matches, AJ Styles and Edge. I mean, that's one of the ones I'm most excited to see. That's gonna probably steal the show. And then our women's division too now. I mean, it is really. I mean, they have leaped, eons ahead of where it's always been, and they're getting the opportunities now, just like the men. So I'm really excited. It's going to be tough to sit there and just watch. I still do, in my mind and in my heart, I still want to be there. I just, the body just doesn't deliver on what those two things see anymore. But I'm going to try and sit back and enjoy it and watch it and be a fan.
Congratulations on tonight. Thanks for sharing part of today with us. It's been well earned.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.